Let's put together our improv slabs that will go inside of our nested curves. Sometimes when people build out to a particular size, they may use something like painter's tape on the cutting mat to decide what boundaries you'll have for your scraps. I don't tend to work this way because if I have them arranged in this specific order, then I will need to sew two pieces together, press them, trim them, come back and find this specific third piece to add on, press, trim, and come back to this one. I find that that process is not as efficient for me as it is when I take two pieces and sew them together, and then two and two and two, and then I go and I press and press and press, and then I trim and trim and trim. So I work in batches. And I tend to build out to a particular size about like this, and then I'll join little bits together to make the big 13 or 14 inch square that we're aiming for that we'll use to make these slabs. So let's take a look at what that process looks like, because the key to getting our seams to land on a horizontal and a vertical axis here, the key will be in our trimming. So if we start with two pieces and we sew them together, once you have pressed them, align your ruler so that the grid matches the last seam that you have sewed. Square up both sides. And then, because I work in batches, I don't know where my next piece will go on this. I will trim up the top and the bottom as well, so that all of my sides are squared up with the last seam that I sewed. Find your next piece and then go sew. I like to audition my pieces and try to have them fit together a little efficiently. I won't take a very large scrap and sew it to this small unit here, because then I'll have a little bit of waste on either side. Or if I do have a large scrap, I will align it so that the extra that I cut off stays in one piece instead of creating two smaller scraps. I don't square up my scraps before I sew them. If there is one edge that looks like it's pretty straight, then I will place it underneath my block and use my straight edge of my block as my guide for sewing. Once this piece is sewed, align your ruler to the last seam that you sewed, and then square up both sides. This edge was cut in the previous step, so all I need to do is square up the other edge of the scrap that I just added. Again, line up your ruler to the last seam that you sewed and trim off that side. Now at this point, I am careful where I put my next scrap, because if I place it here, or if I place it here, I will begin to work in a log cabin-like fashion where I am building out in a circle. I tend not to do this because a log cabin has a focal point of that center block where you started your building. In giant nested curves, I like for the main focal point to be inside of the curves that I am sewing, and I don't want to have other focal points that compete with that too much. Having said that, there are examples where people have used log cabin blocks, orphan blocks that they haven't wanted for another project, and they will use them in giant nested curves, and it looks fantastic. So take that advice with a grain of salt and do what resonates with you and your design aesthetic. I'm going to place this piece to the side here though, because that will give me some variety as I am working, and it will break up that log cabin construction, or it will avoid that log cabin construction. Once I have sewn and pressed those, I will use that last line once again. I am taking a little bit off of this side, but if I am careful, I can line it up evenly so that I'm only taking off the scrap. At some point, you might discover that some of your lines end up a little bit askew or a little bit off of the parallel track. And that's okay. You can ignore the line that is off of your grid, or you can move your ruler so that you're in between those two lines. Don't unpick those though, because once you have all of your blocks put together, it'll be very hard for you to zoom in and remember that one line that was a little bit tilted one way or the other off of your X and your Y axis. You'll take maybe one more scrap. It just depends on what kind of flow you like to have. I tend to try to do 1, 2, 3, 4 or 5 seams in a unit before I set it aside and start over again with the 2, and then adding a third onto my 2s and then a fourth in that sort of batch rotation. Once I've sewn that, I'll pull it out. I will use the last seam as a guide, and I will go ahead and trim up all of these. As you are working towards your 13, 14-inch square, you don't have to trim it up on the very last edge. Leave those little bits. You can have irregular edges of your slabs because we'll be using our templates to cut them out, and you don't want to trim those pieces away. Those pieces may give you a little bit of extra room where you can audition where your template will sit on your slab. So go ahead and make maybe 2 slabs, and then we'll begin cutting with those slabs, because whatever is left over becomes the starting point for your next slab. It's kind of like a sourdough starter. You'll take a little bit from the day before in order to grow today's starter, and then you'll take a little bit of today's tomorrow to continue that process.